Greetings and welcome once again to my new calculus channel. So in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about my life experience, and in particular about someone who was quite prominent in my life, my father. No, I didn't have a very good relationship with my father. I never could see eye to eye with him on almost anything. So my father was predominantly of Jewish ancestry. He did have some Greek and Sardinian in him, as well as a little Coptic origin, but he was mostly a Jew whose ancestors came from Cyprus. And so first of all, let me tell you about the only good thing that I can remember about him is that he worked like a dog, as the cliche goes. He would get up early in the morning and come back very late at night. Well, he had a large family. There were 6 of us, and he could barely take care of us. During the middle of the month, he would borrow money from some Greek friends of ours so that we could get through to the end of the month, and then repay them again at the end of the month so that he could just once again borrow from them again in the middle of the next month. Now, there were some extenuating circumstances in his case. He also came from a family of 6, and a very poor family of 6, and he had a father my grandfather that is, who I believe was a pedophile. Not to the extremes of some pedophiles today, but still pretty traumatic. I'm not going to go into the details, but I do believe that my father was abused by my grandfather, and anyway, it's just too ugly to describe. So yes, it's understandable that he was traumatized, and that's probably one of the reasons why he turned out the way he did. But in any case, when somebody has so much trauma in one's life, it's probably better that they don't have children, because they just prolong the agony and the misery. And that's what happened, especially in my case. I was treated terribly by my father. He was a tyrant, in my opinion. He was a racist. He was a tyrant. He had very narrow-minded views, even though he was fairly intelligent. Yes, I'll tell you that he was technically very capable. But he had a very foul temper, and if you think I have a sewer mouth, you've no idea how foul-mouthed my father was, and how bad-tempered and impatient and intolerant he was of any mistake that I could have, I could find myself in a situation where more than often, his verbal abuse was a lot worse than the physical punishment. And there are just some things I can't even repeat. I mean, but I'll just say one of them that started off at a very young age. I was roughly 5 years old when he first when he first issued the following expression to me. He said to me, "Who the hell do you think you are, you bastard child? I pissed you out." Now, the first time he said that to me, first of all, I'm not a bastard, but because my mother was a virgin and my father was just an animal, in my opinion. And he said to me, when he said that to me, I was shocked. I didn't know how to respond the first few times. And after a while, I realized that the best response was to tell him that he did nothing great, because all he was doing is satisfying his lusts. I was 6 or 7 years old when I told him that. He was satisfying his lusts, and he was just passing along genes that were there, and it would have been better if he had never had any children, because he was such a miserable bastard. And yes, there are times when I feel sorry for the kind of life that he had, but I wasn't responsible for it. I mean, he passed along some of his most disgusting habits to me. Like, for example, I still suffer from ill-temperedness. I have very little tolerance for fools, and even ordinary people. I find it difficult to deal with people. Throughout my life, the effects of his abuse have made it very difficult for me to deal with people. And in general, I tend to avoid people, because I have a saying: people are trouble, and it shouldn't be that way. I should actually be able to get along with people, even the stupid ones. But it turns out that all of them annoy me intensely, especially the so-called smart ones who are supposedly educated, but they're the biggest morons on the planet. And I think you all know who I'm referring to, so I'm not going to go into that. So the effects of being reared by a tyrannical, abusive father never go away. I mean, I was suffering from severe depression since the age of 5. And many people judge me because they think that I'm just an evil person, but I'm not really, actually. Most people, to love me is to know me. And once you really get to know me, you would love me, because I'm the most generous, the kindest, and the most helpful person, especially when I see that somebody is struggling and needs to be helped. Okay, so, but at the same time, I can be very, very, vicious with my words, and often my bark is worse than my bite. But as I say, once the arrow has left the bow, the damage has been done. So in any case, there are many, many times when I wish I had never been born. But I suppose that it takes a whole world, a lot of different types of people to make up a whole world. And it's really a pretty miserable world in which we live, because we're not able to get along with each other, and we're not able to love one another. Yes, true love is caring for each other, respecting each other. It's hard to do, especially in my case, and I find that as I get older, and I'm 60 years old already, I find it more difficult to put up with other people. And I don't know that it matters anymore, that it matters that much anymore, because I probably won't be around for too long. But in any case, I wanted to share these things with you. They're very traumatic memories that I think about often. They never go away. I mean, it's people think that such trauma just happens when you're young and you eventually get over it, but you don't. It affects every aspect of your life. Your career, your dealings with people, your outward appearance, every part of your life is affected by it. So now my mother was was better, but she was, I'll have to say, traumatized also by my father. And I won't go into the stories about my mother. I'll leave that for another time. Suffice to say that she was institutionalized 3 times because of all the depression and the nervous breakdowns that she suffered. So, in any case, now you've learned a little bit more about me and where I come from and why I do get impatient and why I do react the way I do. I do care about the world. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about it, especially in my position right now. So I do the little that I can, which is to reveal the truth in terms of mathematics, and it's not a big deal, but it's better than nothing. And maybe, not maybe, I'm pretty sure that it has helped a lot of people, and it will continue to help others. So I've been rambling on quite a bit, so I'm going to stop here, and hopefully in the next channel I'll pick up with some more mathematics, the next proposition of Euclid's Elements, or another critique that I will do on somebody else's video. So that's it for now. I'm John Gabriel. This is a new calculus channel. Until next time, goodbye.